In this video, we will be discussing 5 clinical questions from biochemistry. So let's get started. The first case here is a student takes some tablets she is offered at a disco, and without asking what they are, she swallows them. A short time later, she starts to hyperventilate and become very hot. So a student goes to a disco and she takes a tablet someone offers her without asking what it is. And then after a time, she starts hyperventilating and she becomes hot. Now the question is, what is the most likely action of the tablet she has taken and what can be the tablet she has taken? Now you can pause the video to think about the answer, or you can listen to the solution of this case. So the option here is 2,4 dinitrophenol. 2,4 dinitrophenol is an uncoupler of the mitochondrial electron transport and oxidative phosphorylation. So basically what this tablet 2,4 DNP does is it creates hydrogen pores inside the inner mitochondrial membrane that can disrupt the proton gradient responsible for ATP production. So hence the ETC works more, leading to more heat production. So since 2,4 DNP goes and disrupts the mitochondrial membrane, the ETC is fooled and it thinks it has to work more hard to produce more ATP. But since the proton channels and the proton gradient is disrupted here, is not proper here, then there is no use. And that is why the patient is presenting with hyperventilation and body heat. See, this is a sample of 2,4 DNP, the diagram. This is banned right now. It was first given as a medication for accelerating fat loss or to lose weight. But now it's banned because it is toxic and it can be fatal at times. 2,4 dinitrophenol, it is an uncoupler of the ETC and oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, let's look at our second case. A blood sample is taken from a 40-year-old man who has been fasting completely for a week, drinking only water. Which of the following will be at higher concentration than after a normal overnight fast? Now, there are 5 options for us here: glucose, insulin, ketone bodies, non-esterified fatty acids, and triacylglycerols. Let's look at the keywords from the case. From a 40-year-old man who has been fasting completely for a week, only water. Now, they're asking which of the following will be at a higher concentration than after a normal overnight fast. So see, if it was a normal overnight fast, the person would have consumed some food before the night, right? Like a normal person. But our case, the person has been fasting for a week. So it is not the normal overnight fast. So after 1 week, what will be high in the blood? What concentration will be high? So the answer for that is ketone bodies. Because for the initial weeks of complete fasting, ketone bodies are formed as a breakdown product of fats. Now, ketone bodies are formed because ketone bodies are the secondary source of fuel for our brain. When there is no glucose, our brain makes use of ketone bodies as the source of energy. Now, here we have the case 3. A 25-year-old man visits his general practitioner complaining of abdominal cramps and diarrhea after drinking milk. What is the most likely cause of his problem? Now see, he complains of abdominal cramps and diarrhea after drinking milk. We have to find what is the most likely problem. So let's decode this solution like this. Milk. So if the milk is not getting digested properly, then that is called lactose intolerance. Now, if the milk is not getting digested, then that means lactose is not being converted into some other product. And to convert that product, you need an enzyme called lactase. So this person lacks the enzyme lactase, which leads to lactose intolerance. So lack of small intestine lactase. Lactose intolerance occurs when your small intestine doesn't produce enough of an enzyme lactase to digest milk sugar lactose. Normally, lactase turns milk sugar into 2 simple sugars, glucose and galactose, which are absorbed into the bloodstream through the intestinal lining. So here is a diagram that will make you understand more. So see, here you have the small intestine and here you have the small intestine. This is a lactose tolerant person. This is a lactose intolerant person. Now, in a lactose tolerant person, lactose is getting converted into glucose and galactose in the presence of enzyme lactase. But in a lactose intolerant person, this lactase enzyme is absent. So it goes to the large intestine. In large intestine, there are a ton of bacteria, right? So those bacteria starts fermenting this lactose to produce gas and acid, which comes out as flatulence or abdominal pain, which was the classical feature of our patient. Case 4. Here is an image that I would want you to pause and look at. So the above condition is called what? And explain the cause of this condition. What is this condition called? You can pause the video and try guessing the condition. Try answering this case. So this condition is called gout. Okay, this condition is called gout, and gout is due to the accumulation of uric acid crystals in your joints. So see, it is due to hyperuricemia, a lot of uric acid. Gout is a common and complex form of arthritis that can affect anyone. It is characterized by sudden severe attacks of pain, swelling, redness, and tenderness in one or more joints, most often in the big toe. So this is about gout. You can take a look at the image once again. Yeah. The final case of this presentation today. Patient presents with the following results: pancytopenia, avascular necrosis, osteoporosis, hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, and glucocerebroside levels are very high. Okay, these are the following results of the patient. Now, here is the histology lab report of the patient. This was a normal spleen of the patient. But then, due to the disease, the patient's spleen was like this. And here in the red arrow, you can see this is a characteristic appearance of a certain disease. So again, let me show you guys what are all the clinical findings. Pancytopenia. Now, pancytopenia means a lot of blood cells are abnormal. Like they might be low or they might be high. I'm sorry, they might be low, very low. So RBCs are low, WBCs are low, platelets are low for this person, and then you have all these other conditions. Now, for the solution, if you notice here, glucocerebroside levels are high. Okay, so that can give you a clue that this disease is called Gaucher's disease. And this histological report shows you the crumbled tissue paper-like appearance of the macrophages in the spleen. So this disease is Gaucher's disease. It is because of the absence of glucocerebrosidase. It affects the bone, liver, and spleen. This disease is a type of lysosomal disorder. Now, glucocerebroside accumulates inside macrophages, causing crumbled tissue paper-like appearance. So that is the classical feature you can see here, crumbled tissue paper-like appearance. Now, finally, to end this, you can tell that Gaucher's disease is an autosomal recessive type of genetic disease. That's it for this presentation. We will come back with more clinical presentations for you so that we can do better in practical situations. Thank you.